The morning Emily Carter lost her watch, she realized she had no idea how much time she actually had left. Not in life, she was only 32, healthy, and living in a quiet suburb just outside Toronto, but in the day, in her dreams, in the life she kept promising herself she'd start, soon. The kind of soon that never comes. She stood on the crowded subway platform, hands trembling through her bag, heart beating faster each second the train drew near. For years she'd lived by that watch, her father's final gift before he passed, and now it had vanished somewhere between her rushed coffee stop and the station stairs. Come on, where are you?" she muttered, her voice swallowed by the rumble of the incoming train. That's when a small, hesitant voice whispered beside her. "Miss, you dropped this." She turned. A boy, maybe 10, maybe younger, held the watch in both hands like it was treasure. His coat was 2 sizes too big, the sleeves swallowing his fingers, and his eyes carried the weight of someone who knew more about life than a child ever should. Emily breathed out, a shaky, grateful exhale. "Oh my God, thank you, really, thank you." He smiled, small, shy, but genuine. "It looked important." "It is," she said. "How can I thank you?" He shrugged. "You already did." The train doors opened. The boy stepped back. Something tugged at Emily's chest, an instinct louder than reason, but the push of commuters swallowed him, and then she was inside the train, carried away. But she couldn't shake that look in his eyes. A look that felt like time was running out for someone. The child she couldn't forget. The day dragged on, emails, deadlines, meetings, but Emily found herself replaying the moment on the platform. The boy's oversized coat, his thin face, the way he backed away as though expecting her to disappear. At lunch, she walked to the spot where she often sat alone and scrolled through her father's old messages. His last one blinked back at her, a simple text he'd sent before his unexpected stroke. "Time is the only thing you can't earn back. Use it well, Em." She closed her eyes. Maybe that's why the boy lingered in her mind. Maybe this was one of those moments her father kept urging her to notice, small, ordinary seconds that held something bigger inside them. By 5 p.m., she made a decision. Instead of going home, she returned to the subway station. A chance encounter, a hidden story. The platform was quieter now, colder. She scanned the area, unsure what she was even looking for. And then, there he was, sitting on the floor against a pillar, backpack tucked under his arms, pretending to read a torn comic book. Her heart tightened. She approached slowly. "Hi again." He looked up, startled. "Oh, hi, do you mind if I sit?" she asked. He shook his head. She sat beside him, careful not to overwhelm him. "I never got your name." "Lucas," he said softly. "I'm Emily." He nodded, as if memorizing it. She glanced around, waiting for someone. His shoulders rose slightly, barely a shrug. "Not really." A pause. A long one. "You okay?" she asked gently. Lucas folded the comic, pressing the creases flat. "I'm fine." The lie was so obvious it felt like it echoed off the station walls. She tried again. "You found something really precious today." Not everyone would have bothered. He picked at a loose thread on his sleeve. "My mom, she used to say you don't keep what's not yours." "Used to." He hesitated. "My mom's been gone a long time." Emily's breath caught. "I'm sorry." "It's okay." Another shrug, this one smaller. "I've been staying with my uncle. But he works nights. Sometimes he forgets to let me in." Her heart broke a little. "You stay here when that happens?" "Sometimes. It's warm near the vents. And no one notices if I sit still." Emily felt anger rise, anger that a child had learned to become invisible just to survive. "Lucas, does your school know?" "Your uncle." He shook his head quickly. "Please don't tell anyone. They'll split us up again. I don't want more foster places." His voice trembled. "I'm better on my own." "You shouldn't have to be." Something raw flickered in his eyes, like hope pressed under years of disappointment. But he had trusted her enough to say it. She wouldn't betray that trust. "Are you hungry?" she asked. He nodded, almost embarrassed. "Come on," she said, standing. "Where?" "Dinner. My treat." She tried to smile. "And no arguments. You saved my day this morning. Let me return the favor." For the first time, the boy smiled fully, wide, real, hopeful. "Okay. Burgers, stories, and a moment that changed everything." They walked to a nearby diner, the kind that smelled like fries and nostalgia. As they slid into a booth, Lucas stared at the menu as though it was a luxury he wasn't sure he deserved. "You can get anything," she urged. He ordered a cheeseburger, fries, and a milkshake. When the food arrived, he ate with a quiet hunger that told its own story. Still, Emily didn't push him. She let him talk at his own pace. I used to come to places like this with my mom, he said between small bites. She worked 2 jobs, but once a month, she'd take me out. We'd sit for hours, just talking. What did you talk about? Dreams mostly. He looked up. She wanted to be a nurse. And I wanted to be a pilot. A pilot, that's amazing. He blushed slightly. I just like the idea of going somewhere new. Somewhere, high up. She smiled. You could still do that, you know. His expression dimmed. People like me don't get to do big things. Her heart twisted. Lucas, she said softly, people like you are the ones who make the biggest difference. He looked at her, unsure whether to believe it. Before she could say more, the diner's door opened, and a tall, rough-looking man walked in. Lucas froze. That's my uncle, he whispered. Emily tensed. The man spotted them and hurried over, guilt etched across his face. Lucas, he exclaimed, I've been looking everywhere. I'm so sorry, kid. Lucas lowered his head. I fell asleep after work, his uncle said to Emily. Didn't hear the knocking. He must have come early. Emily studied him. He looked exhausted, overwhelmed, but not unkind. Still, she had questions. She just didn't voice them yet. Thank you for looking after him, the uncle said quietly. I know I haven't been doing great. But I'm trying. He's all I've got. Lucas leaned against him, hesitant at first, then fully melting into the embrace. Something in the man's eyes broke. I won't let you sleep out there again, he whispered to Lucas. I promise. Emily watched them, the scene tugging deeply at her. She knew promises like that weren't always easy to keep. Life had a way of pulling people under. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small card. Here, she said to the uncle. My number. If you ever need help, with Lucas, with anything, call me. The man accepted it gratefully. But it was Lucas who spoke next. Will I see you again? Emily smiled. I hope so. The twist time had been saving. Life moved forward. Work, chores, daily routines. But the encounter lingered with Emily. She found herself checking her phone for messages she never received. Wondering if Lucas was safe, warm, fed. She visited the station once or twice just to be sure. Weeks passed. And then one snowy evening, her phone lit up with a number she didn't recognize. She almost didn't answer. But something, some instinct, some echo of her father's voice, told her to pick up. Hello, a familiar voice trembled on the other end. Miss Emily. She stood straight. Lucas, are you okay? He sniffed softly. My uncle, he got sick at work. They took him to the hospital. I'm there now but, I don't know what to do. Her heart kicked into gear. Tell me which hospital. I'm coming. A night that rewrote everything. When she arrived, Lucas ran to her, clutching her coat like a life raft. She wrapped her arms around him. It's okay. I'm here. They sat together in the waiting area until a doctor approached. The uncle had collapsed from exhaustion, dehydration, and untreated diabetes. He would recover, but slowly. He had no insurance, no close family, no one else to call. Emily looked at Lucas, tiny, terrified, trying so hard not to cry, and felt something shift inside her. Something she hadn't expected. Time didn't slow, but it became clear. Lucas wasn't just a boy she had met by chance. He was someone life had placed in her path for a reason. She leaned down and brushed his hair gently. You're not alone, okay? Not tonight, not ever again. He nodded, tears finally spilling. Can you stay? He whispered. Of course. The moment that defined them both. Hours passed. They talked about school, superheroes, airplanes. At one point, he fell asleep against her shoulder, small and fragile and trusting. A nurse approached softly. Is he yours? She whispered. Emily looked down at the sleeping child. And for the first time, the answer felt certain. Not yet, she whispered back. But I think he might be. A beginning wrapped inside an ending. When Lucas's uncle woke the next day, Emily stood beside his bed. They talked, honestly, heavily, compassionately. The man broke down, admitting he wasn't equipped, wasn't stable, wasn't enough for the boy he loved. He asked Emily the question she didn't expect. Would you help take care of him? Maybe even take him in, if it comes to that. Her breath caught. She looked at Lucas. He looked at her. And then he whispered the words that changed her life forever. You're the only person who ever came back for me. Emily knelt, cupping his face. And I always will. They stayed like that. Just two people holding each other in a moment that felt bigger than fate. A moment where time, for once, wasn't a thief. It was a gift, a second chance, a beginning born from kindness, humanity, and the courage to show up when someone needed you most. And as Emily held Lucas close, one thought filled her completely. Some moments don't just pass by. Some moments remake the future.